All right, since we've been dealing with the notes most recently, let's just make it so that we can update and delete our notes. So go back into our trip app views.py, and at the very bottom below the note create view, we're going to create two views here, one for the note update view and one for the note delete view. And the note update view is going to be super similar to this note create view. So we're actually just going to copy this code and paste it down here. And there's only a few things we need to change. We need to change the name, obviously, of this class. So we'll call it note update view. Instead of create view, we want to inherit from update view, which if we scroll up to the top, we can import from django.views.generic, import update view. So you can see that there's a lot of these generic class-based views for the common patterns, creating, listing out items, updating an item. So this time we'll use the update view. And these are all the same. Model is note, is it the same reverse lazy, and we'll show all the fields. The only other thing we have to update is in this get form. Right now it's using this note create view, but let's change this to note update view. That looks good. Still just getting the trips for the logged in user and returning the form. So that's our update view all done. Now let's go ahead and create our delete view. So we could say class note delete view. And this time, you might have guessed it, we'll use a delete view class from Django, which if we scroll up to the top, we can import next to update view, delete view. And we can set on this the model equals note, a success underscore URL of where to go after we delete the note, because there's going to be no more note. So we'll just say we'll go to the note list, so reverse lazy, so we can look up URLs via the name, and then we'll go note-list. And then it's interesting to note there's no template needed. We send a post request to this URL. So we just submit a post request here, and it will delete the note. Cool, so this is our update view and our delete view for these notes. Let's go into our URLs and get the URL set up. So we can go down where our note detail URL is and just duplicate it twice. For the first one, we'll say /update, like so. This won't be note delete view, it'll be note update view, which we need to import from the views file. And then the name will be note-update. And then similarly down here, we'll just say note-delete. This won't be the note detail view, it'll be the note delete view, which again, we need to import from our view. And then instead of naming it note detail, we'll name it note delete. And the interesting thing again with the templates is the delete does not need a template, and the update uses the same template as the create. So it'll use that note form.html, which is super nice. So we've already created this template, so we don't need to do anything there. All we have to do is update the note detail to add some buttons to update or delete it. So if we go into our trip templates and we go into our note detail, at the very top, right above the note detail, I'm just going to paste in some code here. So it'll be a button, a link to the note-update, passing in the note-pk, and it'll say edit. And again, this will use the same template as the create, so the note underscore form.html. And then it gave it some styling here, so it looks more like an edit button. And then we added in a form here, because again, we want to send a post request to that delete URL, so note delete, passing in the note primary key, so we know which note to delete. And then it will delete that note, but we just needed a submit button. And so the value is delete, and it has some styling here. So if we save this, make sure our server is still running, and go back to our browser and look at a specific note detail and click refresh. Now we should see our edit and delete buttons. If we click edit, it takes us to our note form HTML page, but it pre-fills in all of the information. And let's say this is really delicious seafood and we want to add an emoji and we want to say this is some kind of seafood. I guess we can just say fish. Like that. Then we click save here. It takes us back to our notes list. And if we look at the note that we just updated, we can see that it has been successfully updated. And let's say we really don't want this note anymore. We don't really like it, or for whatever reason we want to delete it. We can click delete. And boom, it is gone. So just like that, we were able to update and delete a note. Pretty easy. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for a trip.